You are now listening to a proud member of the Disney Podcast family. Go to DizPodcastFamily.com to find more on this show and other great Disney podcasts.
All personnel, clear the launch platform.
The Leaving Today podcast, the show about the news, history, and attractions of the Disneyland Resort.
Well, come on, Wendy. Let's go.
But where are we going?
To Neverland.
Neverland.
Hello, and hello. Welcome to Leaving Today podcast, episode number 130. If you can believe it, I can barely believe it. It's about 129 more than I thought we would be at. But hey, here we are. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Leaving Today podcast. My name is Mark, one of the co-hosts here. Sitting to my right is the Trailmaster Puppets, Udi.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. We also have a third member of our show, Jess. She is not here tonight.
Nope.
She's actually doing a paper, a 2,000-word essay. 3,000-word essay.
3,000-word essay.
Yeah, and she will be, which we're going to try to get her on Skype. She's literally 11 minutes from my house.
Yep.
So she isn't far, but we're going to try to get her on if we can. Hey, tonight's show, we're going to be talking to Sam Carter. From Carter Creative. We're going to be talking about Disneyland Forward, and everything that entails. We have the news. We have the randomizer working tonight, and that's that. Hey, you know what? Anyways, I should say we're getting a lot of listeners out there, so thank you so much for joining us. Mm-hmm. If this is your first time, welcome. The water is very warm. For those of you who are family members, welcome home. Tonight's show is sponsored by you guys, the Patreon listeners.
Thank you.
All of you wonderful people out there. We wouldn't do the show. We would do the show, but you guys definitely make it a lot easier for us. I'll just say that. We will always do the show regardless if we have Patreon supporters. Mm-hmm. But we're so thankful that you are there for us. All right. So, if you would like to be part of that, go to leavingtodaypodcast.com, click on the Patreon link, and we'll make it easy for you. $1, $3, $5 tiers. And for that, you get to be on the show, and you get to also get some cool swag. Also, whatever platform you're listening to us on tonight, this afternoon, today, after the show's over, hey, take a moment and give us a rating, give us a review, tell us what you think, tell us what we can improve about. Because we always want to make changes for the show and get things and grow, and hopefully we will be getting some more growing stuff in the future. All right, so that's that. Tonight's opening question, Udi. Besides Rancho del Zocalo, what is the first item you want to eat? The first meal that you want to have at either park? And I said no Rancho because that's going to be your default.
Are we talking full meal, snack, or...
Let's do snack and full meal.
Okay.
And I don't consider Jack and Coke a snack.
Well, then... no, I will go with a snack being the It's Lemon.
Okay, down with that.
Yeah, food-wise.
For those of us on our live feed right now, if you want to join in on that question, you can. And I know this is a podcast, so what we're doing is actually going live for the first half. And having people chime in on this. So,
and then food, I don't know if I have a secondary default, because then it kind of falls into snackhead. You know what I mean? Beignets are always good to have. Okay. I do have a new one.
Okay.
Docking Bay.
Ooh.
The pot roast out of Docking Bay.
Yes, I was there when you had that. It looked good. And you talked about that.
Amazing how good it is. It is, whenever you have, you go to different restaurants, different kind of things that they offer up. If they have an offering on the menu, to me, there are things that kind of point to whether or not they're going to have their things on point. Mm-hmm. So when I go to a Mexican restaurant, believe it or not, it isn't enchiladas. It is not. And I get enchiladas at Rancho del Zocalo because they are amazing there. The one thing that I get at a Mexican restaurant, no matter what, whenever I go, tamales.
Oh, yeah.
If they make the tamales as good as I make my tamales, then, Mark, you've had mine.
Oh, I think your mom made them.
No, we made them together.
Oh, yeah, those were so good. I don't, to be honest with you, I'm not a big, I don't usually go to get those. I'm going to say the white version, tamales, but it's...
Tamales.
Tamales.
Yep.
Tamales.
Yep.
Okay, sorry about that. Tamales.
Yep.
I typically don't go for those, but Udi came over for my birthday, and he had 2 Ziploc bags full of these things, and they're so good. I mean, they're really, really good. Hopefully we can get some more sometime.
Thank you. I will be making another batch soon.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
That's all my plan. But anyway,
pot roast dinner, yeah.
But then you go, and then when you have depending on what the menu offering is, that is another one for me. If they have a pot roast or some kind of a lasagna or a meatloaf or anything along that line,
yeah,
I go there. And because that is going to tell me if they can handle that the way those are, mm-hmm. if they make them well, it'll come out well. Mm-hmm. So that pot roast is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, if they can do simple things well, mm-hmm. then that's a good metric. Okay, so all right. Oh, Isaiah said he's going to get Willie's Churro snack dinner. Snack. Uh-huh. Okay, that's snack. Yeah. And then dinner, hands down, sriracha lobster mac in a bread bowl.
Ooh.
I want to pass on that.
Yeah, I mean, no, because of the sriracha. I'm not a big lobster guy, but
I don't.
Sriracha mac? Yep.
Where you getting that at? Is that at DCA?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So for snack, I mean, it's going to be either It's Lemon or it probably will be both of It's Lemon and the Mocha Almond Fudge ice cream at Gibson Grill.
Yeah.
Both are iconic now. Yeah.
Yeah, and the one that I know was limited was the Fantasia. Oh man, if you guys did not have the opportunity, mm-hmm. I want to begin a campaign because apparently they work to bring that back.
Yeah.
That was amazing because I remember when I went, I'm like, oh my God, it's there.
Yeah.
I'm going to order it. And it was the best. And I think what made it better is I got to sit on the porch and eat it.
Yep.
So I'm sitting on the porch eating that ice cream. And I'm like, oh, it can't get any better.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Disneyland across from the Haunted Mansion, exit the little dock by the pirate ship. Yes, that's
the bread bowl, yeah.
That's the Harbor Galley,
yep.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely know where that is. I've been there quite a few times, but I did not know about that.
Where the Columbia docks right mm-hmm. there. Uh-huh.
Yep. Yeah, the Fantasia ice cream. So it's going to be one of those 2 snacks. She neither said Dole Whip, which is funny.
Well, when it comes to the Dole Whip, now that we've had the Hideaway,
yeah,
it feels
less exclusive.
Yeah.
Yep, I know what you mean.
I mean, not in a bad way. I had the can't think of the name now.
What?
The boa out of there.
Oh, the bao bun?
The bao bun. Yeah. Thank you. The bao bun.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name. The bao bun, that was good. And I had the lumpia. I've had both out of there. And if you guys haven't tried that, I would recommend that too. The bao bun.
Which one did you get? The beef or
the beef one?
Yeah, I got that. I was underwhelmed, to be honest.
Really? No, but do you Do you not eat bao? Have you not had bao before?
That's the first time I ever had it.
Okay. So then maybe, because it was good bao, in my opinion. I've had it before, and it was good. The lumpia, you've had lumpia. I know you've had
many
lumpia.
time, yeah.
The lumpia was good. But the bao bun, it was great. And then they had this kind of a spicy sauce you could kind of dip. Very good. Very good. But anyway, so, yeah, I don't know. I think with that, it made it less. And now, because now when I'm getting a Dole Whip, I'm kind of wanting a loaded one. Or a spiked one, rather. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Mm-hmm. So I would rather have a spiked Dole Whip now, which we can only go to. Well, we can go to a couple places now.
Yeah, a couple places, for sure.
Yep.
Okay. And I guess for dinner, since you said that, I'm not jonesing for what do I want to get. I think it's going to be Carnation Cafe just to be out in the atmosphere and get a meal there, a sandwich. Either a hamburger or they do have the meatloaf, Walt's meatloaf there. Sorry, it's nothing called Walt's meatloaf. It's just there's a meatloaf dish that's really good.
I haven't had that yet. I am putting that on my list.
They have a sourdough bacon cheeseburger. It's on a sourdough bread bacon cheeseburger, which is super, super good. But just to be out there and to be in the atmosphere, that's going to be one of my first meals. And that's going to be one of the meals that I'm going to be getting there for sure whenever I go back. All right, that's the opening question. Thank you, Isaiah, for jumping in on that as well. And now let's go to our news.
You listen to me now. You are talking about things that you do not understand.
All right, so we have some news items to go over tonight. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Disneyland is extending unused single-day and multi-day ticket expiration dates ahead of the park's reopening. With Disneyland Park and DCA set to reopen on April 30th, the Disneyland Resort has issued an update on unused single-day and multi-day tickets. Remember those with the tickets you could get at the local store, like the park hopper tickets or the 1 day, 2 day, 3 day things you could just buy, and they had expiration dates on them, but guess what? They're still valid. So it's interesting how I was wondering what was going to happen with those. Well, so now unused non-promotional single-day tickets that expire on December 30th, 2021 or March 31st, 2022 will have the expiration date extended to December 30th, 2022. Wholly unused non-promotional multi-day tickets that expire on January 12th, 2022 or April 13th, 2022 will have the expiration date extended to January 12th, 2023. And the ticket will expire 13 days after the first use on January 12th, 2023, whichever occurs first. Expiration dates on eligible tickets will be updated prior to the theme parks reopening. So I guess that's good news for people that have those. I don't know how they're going to handle those when it comes time to get tickets. Anyways, can you use those, I wonder?
I would assume so, yeah.
So let's say you have one and they go, hey, tickets are going to go on sale on the April 10th. Okay, that's a week from today. And you log on there. I wonder if it's going to ask you, do you have a current ticket?
I would guess so. I mean, it would make or maybe do a. I haven't ever bought one of those, so I'm gonna speak from a point of like, there probably is a barcode or ID number of some kind on that ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Probably
of
like
course,
maybe use a promo, or do you have that ticket and then punch in that number, or take a picture of it, or something along those lines is what I'd expect to happen. I could be wrong. But I think that is probably, yeah. So definitely, I think whatever protocol, whatever guideline, or whatever process they're going to use to actually, sell tickets is going to be, that is going to have to play into it for sure, no doubt. They have to honor them. Because, I mean, it's one thing for a person not to do that, but it's another because of a pandemic pandemic.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
All right. Next news item: Orange County and Los Angeles County, California, to move into orange reopening tier on March 31st. That's already come and gone, likely increasing theme park capacity. Orange County and Los Angeles County will both be moving forward from the red reopening tier to the orange tier as of Wednesday, March 31st.
Good.
With this move, theme parks are able to operate at 25% maximum capacity instead of 15%. Restaurants and movie theaters will also be able to increase capacity from 25 to 50%. Retail locations will have no capacity limit versus the current 50% capacity. Very, very good. Disneyland and DCA in Orange County will be reopening on the 30th, and Universal Studios in LA County will be opening on the 16th. Neither has indicated what their maximum capacity will be set at, but for now, only California residents will be allowed to at the parks.
Okay. I'm gonna go out there
Okay.
and say this.
Ooh.
When
Should I take a drink first?
maybe if you want to. I mean, hey, I'm not going to keep you from drinking. When we open and we get to the level of 25%, okay? Or restaurants and theaters and whatever being 50. When we get there, I'm going to go a little bit fortune teller, a little oracle, and go, the powers at be are going to try at one point to shrink that number back down. I think at that point, the collective populace of the country and of California will throw a big middle finger in the air and be like, no, we're not going back. So I'm happy to see that they're already looking and thinking forward and moving forward. And I think at this point, we've all had enough with what is going on. And I think long story short, I don't think we're going backwards. I don't think we're going to go back. I think a lot of people are worried like, oh, what if there's another
variant
or a spike or whatever, people can have a trepidation over. I get it. I'm never gonna fault you for if you're afraid of that. Okay, I mean that is you. But I don't think we're gonna go back. I think this is gonna be a move that is gonna move forward. And I think if any company Disney tries to step backward, I think they're gonna get a massive backlash because we're all ready to be happy again. We are. I think the entire world has been dealing with this. Whatever. And I think we're all over it. If you're not, okay. But yeah, I think we're over it. So I think from here on forward, these are all great signs that we're returning to normal. That people for a lot of reasons, I think we're just returning to normal. We're going to go back and the whole mask thing, I think you're going to begin to see it fading away. I think for the people who have gotten accustomed to it, I haven't. I hate it. I will be real. I hate putting one on. I have to wear one occasionally when I have to walk into certain places. I have to because they are actively kicking people out, and I literally can't breathe. And I'll give you an example today. I was in a place longer than 10 minutes, and I could feel my air supply getting down because I actually when I wear a mask, I actually wear one that actually does something, not a thin fabric. But anyway, not to go off on that tangent. All I'm trying to say, long story short, wrapping it all around, bringing it back to home.
Just circling back over here.
We're gonna circle it back. That I think we're good, and I think we're not looking back. I think we're gonna open up to 15. 25, I've said it before, and I'm going to stay to it. If we're not at near full capacity by the end of summer or by end of summer, there's other shenanigans afoot.
Well, I don't want to add to that, but I don't want to go on a tangent. I'll just stop there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're on the right track.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good. All right. Speaking of that, so next thing that was kind of cool I saw. So new park icons and Disney Monorail mugs are available at Disneyland Resort. Make your morning coffee in one of these new Disneyland mugs now available at World of Disney at Downtown Disney. So there's several of them. I have pictures online. Maybe I'll try to put them on Instagram or something. You've got like a ceramic coffee mug, and it's embossed, I guess is the right term.
Mm-hmm.
So the pictures is a picture of Sleeping Beauty's castle and Pixar Pal Around, Mickey's Fun Wheel, but they're coming out of the mug, and then the backside is Buena Vista Street and the mighty Matterhorn, the majestic Matterhorn, if you will.
I know which one I want.
Yeah, it's got all those, and then the next one is the monorail mug, and these are all $14.99. It's got pictures of like 3 or 4 different colored monorails all spiraling around it, and it says, "Please stand clear of the doors." Please stand clear of the doors, and then it's, how do you say that in Spanish? It has it right there. Por favor.
Por favor, I can never say that word.
I don't know.
Manténgase hold on. Alejado.
De las Puerto?
Yeah. Manténgase o alejado de las puertas. Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, anybody who speaks Spanish, they're going to laugh at me because that was horrible accent. I apologize.
Don't laugh, Jose. I know you're going to say
Well, there are more.
I know,
there are
but
more,
Jose's
but
gonna say
yeah, I
something.
apologize. That is when, it comes through. I try.
Much better job than I could have done. The next coffee mug is called the Conqueror of the Mountains.
That
is $20.
the one I want.
Would you really buy that?
Yep.
Okay.
I would.
It's $20. It's blue, and the Space Mountain is in the back. And it's got, looks like Splash Mountain in the front.
And Thunder. Big Thunder.
Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Yep. Cool.
And it has the Please Remain. Is that the same one or different mug?
It's the same mug, yeah.
Please Remain Seated, which, yeah. Wild is right. Anyway, yeah. That is the one I would get.
Oh, cool.
This one's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So this next news item which is the last news item for this evening, is one that I really wanted to get Jess on because I thought she'd be adding some flair to it. And but we can't get her on Skype right now to do this. She hasn't responded, right, at all? She didn't respond to you? Okay. So she must be busy. Okay. It's that the Blue Bayou will become the second Disneyland establishment to serve alcohol. And they will soon offer new beverage options that elevate the culinary experience. The guest favorite spot will open after the theme parks reopen, and Disney will share that date soon. The enhanced offerings fit right in with the story and spirit of Blue Bayou and reflect what many guests have requested, according to Disney. The new additions will complement the menu and theme of the restaurant with beverages such as wine, beer, and a specialty hurricane cocktail, which is a New Orleans staple. Or you may want to try the new Celebration Sparkling Wine package. Soon you'll be able to pair them with the restaurant's delicious menu items like the popular Surf and Turf. Also, keep an eye out for new seasonal takes on our Mint Julep non-alcoholic beverage. Okay, this is just the second publicly accessible restaurant or bar in Disneyland Park history to serve alcohol, the first being Olga's Cantina at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Okay, so quick, we did post this on Instagram, and before we get to that, we don't already say the guests first and stuff, but what was your initial thought on this?
Well, my initial was like, oh, man. And I wasn't too happy, to be real.
Okay.
But there are a few things that I'm kind of like, I need to be real about what it is. For a vast majority of the populace, it doesn't matter. They don't care. I actually asked someone their opinion on that, And what they told me was they had no real problem with it, and that they're already selling it at Oga, so it's and then I made the comment that that with the park not being open, that they need to recuperate money. So I was kind of seeing that coming, and their remark was, yeah, I could see it coming. And then I made the comment, like, yeah, there's that part of me that's kind of like, but Walt's vision, and you have that argument, like, man, that was a line that I hoped I'd never crossed, but I think with the lockdown, a lot of those lines have been erased.
Right.
And then their comment was, it's all about money now. That park has been that way for a while. Walt hasn't been a guiding factor in that.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, and then I couldn't argue.
Right.
So at one level, I'm annoyed because I'm like one of the things that I hold, we've all hold true, is Walt and his legacy, and he was adamant about that. But sadly, the year that we've had, there are going to be tough decisions that companies as a whole are going to have to make.
Yeah.
Whether we agree or not, whether you want to say it's not holding to the legacy of Walt, I would argue you're correct. I would make that assessment, like you're right. Mm-hmm. They aren't holding on to it. And then the other point is, but they have lost, I don't even look at the last number, any of the numbers lately, how many billions with a B that they have lost. And as a person who is a great lover of the capitalist system, I think it is the best system in the world. We can have that argument if you want off of here, whether you agree or disagree. But and with that, they're gonna, a company needs to do certain things. Well, at least a company like Disney or Disneyland, in quite specifically to the park, they're gonna need to do things because they need to make revenue.
Right.
And the billions that they have lost on the park being closed for over a year now needs to get recuperated in any way, shape, or form. So I'm going to just warn everybody, get ready for these kind of things because they are a-coming and they have to. The only argument, the one thing that I will push back, alcohol, it kind of like hit me like, but then that logical, non-emotional side of me that I tried to let rule my life and my brain told me it makes sense. So yeah, I'm not happy about it, but I'm not like unhappy. I'm kind of like, for lack of a better way, putting it kind of meh about it, because I get it. I get that they need to. Said person said that this was coming anyway, regardless. She felt it was coming regardless. So yeah. I couldn't disagree, and I can't. I made the comment like I can't argue. I can't argue that. But at one level, maybe it's me more kind of recognizing the situation we're in and understanding that you got to bite it. You got to bite the bullet and move forward. If not, we lose the park.
Yep. I think the same emotion I had was that you had, is that it was like, the first thing was like, oh no, here we go. This is not what we needed. But cooler head prevailed for me. Logic prevailed for me. Does it fit the theme? Yeah, it actually does fit the theme of the Blue Bayou. Do I think it's going to be highly successful? Yeah. Do I think my worst nightmare of having people walk around with mixed drinks in the park is going to happen? No.
No, that will not happen.
No, that can never happen.
No, and they will, and not only from a point of, they won't. I don't think they will. I think that is what they'll draw the line. Like, okay, you can only drink here. It isn't going to be a DCA free for all.
Right. Yeah. That's one thing I would actually be a little upset about. But And I think Jess was a little upset at first as well, but I don't know if she's calmed down. Yeah, we'll have to ask her when she comes back on. All right, so we did post it out to Instagram. Here we go. Some of the comments were, hey, Lynn, Lynn from the theme spot. Sorry. Yes. Lynn from the sweep spot said, hey, don't like it, but I get it. Yep, absolutely, Lynn. You're right. I don't like it so much either, but I absolutely get it. As Judy said, they need to recoup money, and they will make money they're going to make money hand over fist with this anyways.
Yep.
Someone said, wow. Marcus said, I'm warming up to the idea, especially at the Blue Bayou. Makes perfect sense there. If I'm paying $200 for dinner, I should have a glass of wine.
I mean, there again, you have that level of like, okay, I get it. Like,
Yeah. Then Fernando said to his comment, that or animatronic Jack Sparrow better cut my steak. Yeah, that's true.
Oh man, that is good. Yeah.
Efren said, cool, but I think it should be limited for me at least. He laughed out loud. Yeah. Fernando said, hey, it'll be fine. Nobody's getting trashed at Blue Bayou. It's a premium experience, and you're paying more than top dollar for it. What?
Yeah, no, I agree. I'll let you finish reading it, then I'll give you my thought. Yeah.
This is meant to enhance that, bring in some additional revenue, and overall not have too much of an impact on the rest of the park's guests. The Popcorn Yeti said it beautifully. We're going to read his. Most people who drink at Disney are pretty well behaved. The ones that are a problem are the types to be the problem wherever they go. True. Alcohol or no alcohol. Most importantly, they better not drop the ball with the pirate-themed drinks. I'm more of a whiskey guy, but I'll drink the F out of rum if it has a clever name. And they put a pirate flag on it for $17. That's a steal. All right, so
how about 40?
Yeah. So what were we gonna say about that?
No, I completely.
Maybe it said, okay, because you stopped me in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So he said it'll be fine. Nobody's getting trashed at Blue Bayou. It's a premium experience, and you're paying more. Is that what it was?
Yeah, and no, I agree. I think they're gonna handle it a lot like what they do with Oga's. I mean, nobody's walking out of Oga's trashed. Nobody ever is.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't think they ever will.
And having never been to Olga's, they give you a maximum, right?
Two. Yeah, you get 2 drink max. And I would not be surprised if they do the same kind of thing. They're like, okay, you can, but you get 2. And I agree that most people that are going to walk in there are not going to get, or not looking to get sloshy. They're not looking to get hammered. You're not going to pay for $150, $170, $100, whatever you pay to get in, to get drunk and get kicked out. There are people on the planet who do that. I've seen it for different things. Like you're going to pay $300 to go see a concert, get hammered, and then not make it through. What up with that? So same thing, same rule applies here. And I agree. It'll probably be like, okay, you get 2 glasses of wine.
Yeah.
And there you go. Or one of these hurricane whatever drink it is, and there you go. Yeah, because when you really think about it, the Galaxy's Edge, like I said, Oga's has done an outstanding job at controlling that.
Okay.
And I think overall DCA does a good job at that too. I mean, you don't often see drunk people walking through DCA. Not often. I think I've maybe seen one. And that is super rare. Usually I'm like, you're an alcoholic, aren't you? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so yeah.
And you know what? I think, honestly, if someone got belligerent, they'd be taken out pretty quickly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I have no doubt in my mind that it will not, and won't ever fall into that realm where they would allow anybody on property to get that smashed.
No, I agree. Yeah. Okay. So here's what the Popcorn Yeti said. I don't think it's a big deal. If someone really wanted to be drunk at Disneyland, all they have to do is walk across the Esplanade or take a short walk to downtown Disney, get drunk, and come right back into Disneyland. The amount of unruly patrons on Disney property compared to the amount of people who drink on Disney property is barely noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
I feel safer with people drinking at Disneyland than I do at my local sports venue. I know the first thing people will complain about is Walt didn't want alcohol in the parks.
Yeah.
Well, Walt didn't always make the best decisions despite what the Walt worshippers will tell you. And he laughs. In time, he might have changed his stance. We'll never know.
He could have, yeah.
So we'll never know. It's a different time now, and I've noticed that compared to other places, most of Disney guests tend to drink more responsibly while on property.
Yeah.
And then Fernando said, well said, I'll drink to that.
And funny part is, he and I have drank on property. He and I. Thanks for that beer again, my friend.
Oh, yeah, I want one of those. And very well said, Popcorn Yeti. Very insightful there. You know, Popcorn Yeti is a connoisseur of beers, too. If you watch his posts on Instagram, he's always got a new microbrew. And
okay.
He's taking some pictures of his backyard. It's looking like Adventureland back there now. It's kind of cool.
Cool.
And Fernando, you know that dude's got a brother?
Yeah.
There's two of those fools wandering around.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what Fernando's brother's name is, but I'll just call him Fernando's brother. Okay.
Okay.
He isn't a Padres fan, though, so that makes it bad.
I think they both are.
I think they're all Padres fans.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I'm a fan of the latest world champions, so that's all I know.
Oh yeah, there you go. Who won it? It was the Astros?
No.
I have no idea. Who won last year?
No, wasn't it the Dodgers who won last year?
Oh yeah, you're right. The Dodgers did
It
win.
was.
Yeah. Okay.
Another topic of argument between me and people.
Yeah.
I'm okay though.
Michael Disney.
We got
Okay.
a ring.
More drunk treasured guests. Okay.
and well, you know,
That's pretty funny.
yeah, but I think again, if you make, we're gonna be real about it. There aren't very many drunk people walking through Disneyland. They're just not there.
Christine HM 1313. I think it must be Haunted Mansion. She's the one that does the Legos, I think. Don't really like that. Hopefully they will be limited like Olga's Cantina. At least at Blue Bayou, you would have to buy food with it. Yeah, very good point there. Absolutely good point.
Yeah.
And yes, I think they will be limiting that.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay. The punster, Ryan, hell
It
to
doesn't
the...
count. Don't even read it.
Okay.
No, I go
He
ahead.
says, hell to the nah.
Of course he would.
He doesn't... Ryan doesn't drink?
Oh, I don't know, but I figured he would be like, no way.
Okay. 2021 Burnji. She's been following us for a while, but she never comments. So, hey, comment more. She says, as an adult who loves Disney and loves adult Disney trips, I'm all for it. Perfect.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie. I want to see what this hurricane is all about.
I kind of want to.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And maybe they will have a real mint julep there.
Well, maybe.
Maybe.
And I don't care about a real mint julep. I mean, I like mint juleps, but I'm not gonna.
That's not
I'm a
your go-to.
bourbon guy. You know that. I'm like, here, have a mint julep or a bourbon. I'm like, bourbon. Are you sure? Yes. That like.
It's got to be bullet.
No, it doesn't. Well, okay.
Okay. So those were the comments we had. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in on that. That makes it more interactive. I love hearing everyone's thoughts and comments on that. It's going to be the trick now, I think, with Disneyland is when they reopen and the people is they have to sort of grow with each other again.
Yeah.
And times are going to be a little bit different, and we are going to have to accept things maybe that we didn't before. And it's all a process for them, because if this isn't successful, they'll just cancel it.
Well, yeah. I mean, and we I think everybody recognizes that they're going to be fine and it's going to be successful, and there isn't going to be an issue. I don't feel there's going to be an issue. I really don't. If there is, it's going to be a one-off every who knows how often. Super rare.
Right. And
never mind. I was going to make a COVID joke. But okay, moving on.
I remember when Galaxy's Edge was announced and plans were coming out, we were talking about, and then at some point the news broke, hey, Olga's Cantina, this well-themed bar will be serving alcohol. And there was a big write-up and hoop to do about it and big pushback. And I think even I was a little upset about it. But you know what?
I think we all did. I know I was too.
I would have no idea if they sold alcohol now. I mean, it doesn't impact me whatsoever.
And that is kind of the beauty of it, if you want to do a silver lining about that, is that, you don't. That is my point. You don't. If you didn't know Oga's sold alcohol, you wouldn't know.
No, you wouldn't know. But I had this mental image of 15,000 people staggering around the park, throwing punches and vomiting. And, Oh, no, that's just in Toontown, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. Oh, yikes. But yeah, I mean, like I said, overall, I'm kind of the only thing that does bug me is the fact that, they slow creep on things like that. But, again, given the year that we've had, am I going to, I don't know.
Would you draw the line if they started serving alcohol at the Tropical Hideaway?
No.
Okay.
The way I look at it now, I'm pretty sure they're going to begin to, if they haven't already, begun looking at other spots that offer alcohol in Disneyland proper. Again, I'm going to go with the thing is they're going to control it. I don't think we'll ever get, or even if we get to a point where it's like DCA where people are just walking around with alcohol in Disneyland, I don't think you and I are going to be alive for that. I'll put it that way. I think you and I will be in the ground if that ever happens. I think, even the incremental creep that we all get with different things, I don't think we'll ever see that in our lifetime where it's wide open like DCA. I could be wrong though.
No, I think you're right.
2020, the year of the crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, okay, here, LTP listeners, we have a couple special things going on right now. Some news has broken since we recorded last, so this is Mark and Udi in the future, and then we're going to bring you back to the past after we're done with this. So crazy. But we're also doing a live stream right now with some listeners, so maybe they might get on to it as well. So the first news item we want to talk about is that Trader Sam animatronic, and I'm not sure if he's even an animatronic. Does he move?
I don't think he moves.
Okay, so what's called the Trader Sam figure, statue, whatever, has been removed from the Jungle Cruise at Walt Disney World. And currently, they are making changes at our beloved park in Anaheim. And in fact, what we will reveal later, a list of attractions are available for opening on April 30th. And Jungle Cruise and Matterhorn, my absolute 1 and 2, you can pick which one is 1 and 2. Will not be. They'll both be dark on April 30th.
Yeah, I'll tell you what 1 and 2 are, but for you.
Okay.
Do you want me to?
Go ahead.
One is Matterhorn, 2 is Jungle Cruise.
Yes.
Okay.
Probably. Okay. Maybe. Yeah. I would say so.
Try to tell me no.
So, what are your thoughts on that, Udi? What's going on? I mean, I can tell you what I'm thinking right now.
Well, the one thing that I'm kind of thinking is I there's a level of me that is annoyed by it, only because I'm more worried about why they're doing it. I have a feeling that it's going to be good and they'll do right, but I usually don't have too much of a problem with changes in the park as long as they're done in a way that I think is honest. I think right now with the culture we're kind of in right now, a lot of things are beginning to happen only because a certain pressure from certain very pinpoint people begin and they feel they need to react. And I don't think that's an honest response, in my opinion. So am I kind of annoyed by it? Yeah. Do I feel like it's going to be a horrible thing? I don't think so. I am worried, though, only because it depends on who they're listening to. The revamp as a whole, when you read it, what they're planning on doing with Jungle isn't a bad idea. I'm not opposed to it. I think it is interesting. It is a departure from what we're used to and what we've grown up with. But that doesn't make it a bad thing. The only real thing that I think the Imagineers did screw up when they've done something as of late has been the redhead on Pirates. I think they messed that up. I think that was with what they came up with was bad.
Okay.
And it has nothing to do with me, being overly critical. I'm being critical.
Critical.
But yeah. So in my opinion, I'm gonna hold my overall either disdain or whatever. I'm gonna wait. I have to wait and see what we're gonna get.
That seems fair.
And then I'll if I have ire after that, then I'll let it go. But we'll find out.
Okay, hey Bob, what do you? Oh, you gotta hop off. Do you have a quick take on Trader Sam?
I'm kind of an Udi's camp. I understand why they're doing it, but I'm not really a fan of where it's coming from and how it's being done. But I get it. There's a lot of other changes that are happening in the park. I was not a fan of Red, in Pirates. But it just kind of seems to be the climate, what's happening, so I get it.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Bob. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you.
All right. You too.
So for me, I'm still wrestling with it. It's kind of a mixture of frustration and anger. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I must say it's dampening my mood for what's happening at the end of this month. And I hate to say that. I really do, because I really want to be excited for the park's opening, but the stuff that we're having to, I am 100% okay for design change in the sake of art and progression and storytelling, but to remove something, but we don't know yet. I really am going to hold up my opinion. If they remove this character and bring him back as something else, I'm okay with that. But just have an empty space there, it's going to be sort of silly to me.
Yeah. Again, if they do it properly, I think anything. It may not be that bad. I think we've talked about it before with Splash, for instance.
Yeah.
I don't really care. I don't think it's going to be a bad thing. I'm actually thinking it's probably going to be a good thing, being that I have no real emotional attachment to Splash. I haven't freaked out over it, for air quote, freaked out over it.
Freaking out.
Yeah, this one is a little bit much closer to home, so I get a lot more worried.
Yeah.
And last time they did something close to home, like I said, Red, they screwed it up.
Does it ruin your experience on the ride?
No, because
attraction.
No, because I don't look at it.
Yeah.
I literally look away. I'm like, and I can hear the voice, and the voice kind of grates, and that is another. I think maybe for Red, if the voice was different, maybe it wouldn't be as bad. But that voice is like the straw that breaks the camel's back for my dislike of that part of the attraction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough.
Yep.
Okay. For those of you on our live stream, if you want to type in something that you hear us talking about, we will read it and we'll respond to that in regards to that. All right. And thank you for everyone who's on there. We may do this again in the future. Okay. So the next item is what actually broke today. And it's the Disneyland Know Before You Go theme park reservations. And that's what's happening. So we're going to talk about that. So what do we know so far about that? Let's see.
I'm going to make Aaron made a comment about Jungle Cruise. Jungle Cruise is about the skippers, so I can block out the rest. Good way to look at it. I agree. I think one of my only other concerns with the retheme and trying to follow a more, story-driven attraction, that they may try to curtail the skippers in some form with their spiel, and that is one of my worries. I really hope not, because I think you're absolutely right that the skippers make that attraction, they elevate that to another level.
Okay. Hey, Jesse M. So today they announced, Disneyland Resort announced that theme park reservations will effectively start on April 12th. And then on the 15th will be another set. So the first part about this is that we have April 9th, and that is for people who actually have a physical ticket that you would have bought, like a multi-day ticket. or whatever from like Safeway or Target or wherever you guys are from, and you could buy those, and those are still valid. We talked about that earlier in the show. And so on the 9th, you're able to go in on the site, type in the number and say, hey, is this thing valid? And is it good for the 12th? And then you can start seeing what's available. And then on the 12th, if you have one of those tickets, then you can start turning those tickets in for a park pass or a park ticket or a reservation. And then on the 15th, it opens up to everyone else. So that's the first part. Does anything about that seem odd to you?
No.
Okay.
No, because if you want to look at it, they already have money spent. So they're trying to get that out of the way as quickly as possible, and I don't blame them.
Okay,
but then after that, I don't know. I don't find a big issue with it. I'm glad they're doing that way. I think they're incentivizing having that and getting rid of as many as you can. That way you can open back up to people who don't have them and try to get to a little bit more of a regular flow.
Yeah, I get that, and I accept that. But I think the thing I'm wrestling with is that and this is going to sound elitist, and I'm very sorry for that, but the AP people who have actually given money to the park for the last 12, 24, 36 months, that is really one of the core target audiences of Disneyland. And I was always thinking, well, it would be great if they let the legacy pass holders get first crack on the reservations. Yeah. But you know, it doesn't matter really. I mean, no. I don't think I would have gone, but it just seems to me like that's, if you have one of those tickets, then you get to go. Whatever. It'll all come out in the wash. Yeah. See, Aaron says the same thing. Get it, but as long-time AP, I'm freaking out. But I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised either. But I think something else will be coming down our way. Mm-hmm. I think there's going to be something else that we're going to be able to get. So that's the only thing off the top. That's the first thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But I'm processing it now. Yep. And listening to you guys.
Well, I agree with you, Mark. I think, I hope, and I think that Disney will take care of the APs. I especially Disneyland, being that it is predominantly AP and SoCal driven. I think part of that also is the fact that they're only opening to California residents. That already kind of really shrinks down the demand that is going to be out there. So by that, I think because we're operating on the mindset of, the normal operation offering to people all over the world. That isn't happening. So that is going to be for a while there where we're only SoCal or California.
What if they go April? So the first day is April 30th. If they say April 23rd, it's a Friday. Legacy pass holders get a special preview to go on either Friday or Saturday. You can only go one of those days. I'm going.
Yep.
And that would be. I see that would. I'm getting chills on my arms thinking about that. If they said that, you guys get to come in. Here's our way of saying thank you, dude. I'm there.
Pack the car. No.
Seriously.
Booking the flight.
Yeah, booking the flight. Yep. Or I don't mind. I've got a Prius. I don't care. I'll drive down there.
Yeah, of course you have a Prius.
Yeah. But so that's the first thing. So what else do we know about this? Park hopping is available.
Good.
And so that's really, really cool.
It would make no sense to negate that in my mind. I was kind of worried about it because of the overall, what's the word I want to use? Stupidity of the overall COVID mandating. So I was kind of worried that would continue to play into what we have going on, but it's not. So good.
No, I'm actually surprised. I thought that they would be regulating how many, but you know what? That's a win, and I'm glad we're doing that.
Yeah.
My last time I was at the park was January 18th, 2000. I know that because it was it was a Saturday, and we were there for January 17th.
And what day was that?
That was the very first day you could get to Rise of the Resistance, and we were there at so early in the morning before it was dark, before it was light. And boarding group 47, 46 we got. Mm-hmm. So that was my last day at the park. Was the day after on that Saturday.
Mine was about a month later. It was literally, I think mine was the week or two before the official closing. I can probably find the date.
Okay,
that was my last day in the park. Yeah.
So the reservations will start really on the 12th and 15th. You find a date, and you can have up to 3 guests from 3 different families, and you book your reservation date. And I don't know. And the park's hour is going to be from 9 to 7, which is strange, but that's okay. I'm not going to complain about that. I mean, that's right at the. I mean, that's a little bit past the magic hour. When I mean the magic hour is when we go from, the twinkle lights come on and dusk, and it's that when everything happens. But that's still more than we've had. Very, very grateful for we're getting that, and that will change by midsummer. I think we're gonna be back to midnights in midsummer. I'm guessing, or at least 11.
My last day in the park was March 2nd, 2020.
March 2nd. Okay. So here's what you can expect to see on opening day on the 30th. Alice in Wonderland, Astro Orbiter, Autopia, Big Thunder Mountain, Casey Jr., Days on a Railroad, Dumbo, Gadgets Go Coaster, Haunted Mansion, Indy, It's a Small World, King Arthur's Carousel, Mad Tea Party, Main Street Vehicles, Mark Twain Riverboat, Millennium Falcon's Smuggler's Run, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, Peter Pan's Flight, Pinocchio, Pirates, Roger Rabbit, Snow White's Enchanted Wish. Sorry, not the Wish. It's the Enchanted Wish. Space Mountain, Splash Mountain. I knew that was happening. Star Tours, Rise of the Resistance, Tarzan's Treehouse, Winnie the Pooh, Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room, and surprise character sightings. Again, if you missed it, my top 2 attractions, Jungle Cruise and Matterhorn and Jungle Cruise, they are dark for April 30th. So at DCA, we've got all the games at Pixar Pier, Goofy Sky School, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, Incredicoaster, Emotional Whirlwind, the Critter Carousel, Jumpin' Jellyfish, Junkyard Jamboree, Mickey's PhilharMagic. That's not even a ride. Okay, Pixar Pal Around, Monsters Inc., Silly Symphony Swings, Turtle Talk with Crush, Little Mermaid, Toy Story, Midway Mania. Yeah, so that's what we have going on. That's going to be really, really good. Let's see here. I saw that they were taking reservations for Savvy Workshop on April 22nd. So that's good.
Ooh.
Yeah?
I have one more.
One more what?
Saber.
You need one more?
I've got one more.
What do you want to build?
The, I forgot the,
Yeah, I didn't know what was coming either.
Oh, I forgot the
She's
name.
a
Oh, yeah, no, I know.
Wow, later than me, who knew what was coming?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
I think
Aaron.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm commenting on Aaron. That.
Oh, that's when Izzy met you.
Yeah. No, I already gave him a thumbs up. Yeah, that's when we met.
Actually, Isaiah, do you go by Izzy? I just called you that. I'm sorry if that's not what you go by.
But yeah, I think they closed it the following week, didn't they? Like mid-March, isn't that when they closed down?
The 15th or something.
Yeah. So I was literally there a week and a half or two before it all went down.
Maybe it was the 21st.
Maybe it was right in there. It was right near the end of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was not that far along after that. And I think I made the comment before, I had a trip already planned for April.
What, this year?
No, I had March, April, May.
Last year?
I had one in May coming.
Izzy, cool.
Yeah. No,
we had
that year.
Yeah, we had plans.
I had like 3 more trips planned.
Yeah, we had plans to go in July for Adventures Campus.
Yep.
And something else. I definitely would have been down in the fall for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
I always seem to get into that. So I probably had 2 trips planned, I would imagine, off the top of my head, but I could have been talking to a third. So
At the rate I was going every 2 months. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And when we get back to it, I will return that rate.
Oh, wow.
I will.
If you do the HVAC thing, then you will be.
Yeah, if I wind up working down there, then I'll be there every other day probably.
Nice.
We'll find out.
Yeah. So
That'll be
in
the future.
We don't know the prices yet. I don't know how many days you can book. So that's all stuff that needs to come out in the wash here. We'll find out next week what the prices are. We'll find out how many days you can book and how many days in advance can you book.
Yeah, that are all important questions.
Yeah.
And yes, we did. Izzy asked us, did you guys get reimbursed for your passes at all?
We did.
If you had AP, and we did.
We did. So bum missing Halloween. Love the Oogie Boogie Bash. I know, right? So listeners on podcast, Erin just said that she's missed Halloween this year. Same. Loved Oogie Boogie Bash, and it was amazing. Yeah. I did get to go when they brought the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party back to DCA, because it actually started at DCA, then went to Disneyland, then back. I was like, man, this isn't going to be the same thing at all, but because the Haunted Mansion and everything. But it was DCA brought it. They was so well done, and just the decorations, the lights, the atmosphere. If you got to do that Redwood Creek challenge, did you get to do that, Aaron? Holy cow, that thing was crazy. I'd never seen anything like that, hopefully that will come back soon this year, and I'm thinking it will. Mm-hmm. And just like, you remember Cars Land it's like it kind of lends itself to these designs anyway, so it's nice to see that. I got 7 minutes. Mm-hmm. Okay. We're looking at the time because we got to move on in a little bit. So that's what we have going on with this. I don't know when my first trip's going to be. How about you guys on the live stream? When are you guys thinking you want to go? I know Udi's going to try to go on end of April, maybe May. I'm trying to think of what else is going on there. Oh, we can talk about the Main Street, the Disneyland Railroad pulling into the station today.
Yeah, they have. There is video popping up of the train rolling through the Main Street station, and that made me. Like, it gave me the chills when I saw the video, and it made me really happy because I could hear the bell and you hear the whistle, and it made me feel really, really, really optimistic about where we're going, and I feel really happy that we're here. We do have a long way to go, clearly, before we're back to normal. Not a new normal, back to normal. I'm going to say that one more time. When we're back to normal. The one magic about the park is the human connection, and I, for one, am not okay with them taking that away. And I will kind of argue that. Anyway, I won't go too far into that. But anyway, so, yeah. If you guys, if you haven't watched that video or haven't seen it, it is floating around. Definitely go check it out. If you do miss the train and hearing the whistle like I do and the bell, go watch it. It will make you smile. The one common thread with all of us is going to be, now we're moving into when can we return, and that is going to be like the next thing. I know the date of whenever I do make it back into the park is going to be that date that I'm going to remember. Kind of like the date for Rise of the Resistance and riding that for the first time ever, opening day. That is a date that isn't going to be out of my head anytime soon. I think when we do get back into the park and when we each individually make our initial trips back in, I think, I'm going to go a little bit and try to predict it for, I think we're all going to definitely have to deal with adapting, I think, for now, and
yep.
I really hope that most of the shenanigans with the COVID and protocols and all these things that they're having to do right now, I really hope and pray that, give it a year, that they will all be gone, and we will be back to enjoying the park, complaining about being crowded, complaining about this, that, and the other thing, rather than I got to wear a mask, or the CMs worried about if they're going to have work, and all the horrible things that we've all, as a collective community, has had to deal with over the last year plus.
Right. Yeah, I think this year we just gotta suck it up and deal with what we get, and I think next year again we'll be talking about annual passes and all kinds of stuff.
You'll be complaining and that they
Yeah.
don't have a Jack in the Box in there.
So now that's all the news we have.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna switch gears here and talk to one of our favorite Disneyland artists, or Disney artists, I should say, because he does a lot more than a DCA artist. And you know what? He's just an artist.
Yeah, there you go.
He does a lot of really good stuff.
Yep.
And yeah, that's that. All right, and now let's go to our feature presentation.
And now for our feature presentation.
So, hey, LTP listeners, this is our feature presentation for episode number 130. Again, we are talking with our good friend, resident artist, all-around good guy from Carter Creative and Cartar Sauce. It's Sam Carter.
I'm all right. How you doing, man? Good to see you guys.
Hey, good to see you too. Yeah. I'm doing fantastic. Fresh off the news from today, from April 6th, 2001.
A lot going on.
Big time. Yeah, we've been waiting for that.
A year, more than
a year.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for that. So I'm glad things are going to get back to normal. We were just talking about it on the news. And when is your first time you're going to come back, go to the park?
Oh man, well, I just went to Touch of Disney on Sunday, so I kind of got it out of my system a little bit, right? And luckily, I was able to go to Disney World in January for 2 weeks, so I got a lot out of my system for that. That was the weirdest thing, is thinking about, man, it seems like forever since I've seen Galaxy's Edge. But then, I'm trying not to do a humble brag, but yeah, I got to go on Rise of Resistance a few times in January. So it's like, I feel like I got a lot out of my system. Not to rub it in, guys.
Well, no.
Okay, I got to do it. How many times did you ride it in January?
3. Pretty impressive, right?
Okay, wait, Mark, how many times I rode it?
In January?
Well, no, in total before the park was.
Oh, he's been on it 7 times, I think.
Whoa. See, I've only been on it once at home. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I did it. I got lucky enough. We were there for opening day, and then that entire weekend we rode it every day, and then I went down one more trip and rode it 3 more times or 4 more times.
But correct me if I'm wrong, Sam, you were there the night before we got to go on it, right, for the cast member preview?
Oh, I don't remember. It's such a blur. There was a whole pandemic between
it was
now
a year
and
ago.
then. I don't remember.
You got to give the.
I forget, maybe.
So much just happens.
I did go to a cast member preview though, so it might have been.
It would have been. Yeah, I think it would have been.
Yeah, my cousin still works there. Actually, she was one of the people that sadly got let go. But yeah, my cousin's the one that got me in.
Okay. Did she get hired back yet, or
did she move on?
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Okay.
I'm hoping. It's entertainment, and that got a big chop on the chopping block. So we'll see what happens later.
Okay. Right on.
Sending positive thoughts. Hopefully she gets back on, and then we get back to normal.
Thank you. It's like the family business. Like I need to have some kind of relative working there.
You totally do. Okay, so this news of Disneyland Forward, which seems to be the topic du jour. So this actually dropped on March 25th, and I know this because I was traveling to North Carolina, and on that day, on Thursday, and my phone was in airplane mode the whole time. And by the time I got by the time I got it synced up and everything, I had a litany of messages. Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? I'm like, what are you guys even talking about? and so I'm trying to.
So far fetched, right?
Yeah, it's so far fetched. And I saw the renderings. I go, whoa, wait a minute. And luckily, I had some downtime. I could sit there and read it and process it, and then. And now I've been living with it for a week and a half, as we all have. So, what was your first thought on this?
Well, I thought it was a bunch of BS. I'm like, there's no way this is true. This is like an early April Fool's joke, right?
Right.
Yep.
I saw someone on Twitter just type about it, and I'm like, I literally I rolled my eyes probably and just kept on going with my day. And then I think I went into a meeting that was like a couple hours long, and when I got out of the meeting, I was scrolling through Twitter, as I always do, and I saw some concept art, and I'm like, hold the phone. There's concept art. I'm like, this is a very elaborate April Fool's joke. Like, it kept going more and more.
It was
concept. No way, this is real.
And what's even strange, Sam, it was concept art that you didn't do.
Yeah, right.
I wish I did it. That would be the dream. Are you kidding? Like any kind of Disneyland expansion or extreme makeover for a Disney park is like,
oh my gosh, right?
My jam.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I just didn't think it was real. And when I kind of read into it, I'm like, oh, this is kind of legit, right? Because it's from Disney. That's when I realized, I'm like, okay. But it reminded me of something from almost 2 decades ago. Man, I sound old. But right when DCA opened, do you remember there was a website called thirdpark.com that came out that Disney put out?
I do.
This is very much like that, where it's trying to get the public excited about something that might be down the road, and it's very vague. They didn't have concept art of this thing, right?
Right.
Back then, but you know, they had concept art for this time, so it's like, wow, they're really trying to get people on board with this concept.
See, I thought you were going to go the Westcott route on that when you said what this reminded you of.
Well, that too, yeah, that it reminded me of that as well.
Yeah.
It's just insane. And one thing I have to say about that artwork, it's like as beautiful as it is, it's as vague as it is beautiful. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of misinformation going on with podcasts and other people that cover the park. Go, this is a brand new third gate. Look at what we're going to get. We're going to get Wakanda. We're going to get this and that. And I go, hold the press here.
I began to read a lot of things because once I realized, like you say, I'm like, okay, this is for real. What are we going to get? And then I began to read all that. I'm like, wait, hold on. Everybody hold the phone. Like, calm down. Pump the brakes. Yeah. Let's give it a hard look here before people. And yeah, there was a lot of people. And I didn't Disney have to come out and like make a clarification? Like, no, this isn't that. It is that. I remember reading something like that.
They might have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they did a really good job at keeping the artwork vague, but still cool looking and exciting. But then giving like a taste of what it might be, right? It might be Tangled. It might be Neverland.
Yeah.
Which is cool because if you follow this stuff, you know that that's projects from Tokyo and other stuff around, you know, the different Disney parks.
Yeah.
It's very much like a Fantasy Springs type thing that Tokyo's getting, right?
Yes.
But the thing that really trips me out the most about it, that caught me by surprise, is the whole new concept of expanding in Anaheim, right? Because we assume that maybe someday we'll get a third park. And that's why I laughed it off. Because especially after the pandemic, we know nothing like that could happen within the next 10 years, I would assume, right? That's why I kind of brushed it off.
Right.
But this is like, not only is it not a third park, but the way they're doing it is really genius, I think, by expanding California Adventure, expanding Disneyland. But my guess, this is total speculation, that the themes that they're going to pick for both expansions aren't going to relate back to the park they expanded from. I think they're gonna relate to each other. Like it'll make sense that way. But if a ground plan, I think as far as operational and guest flow type of thought, looking at it, there's a second set of main entrances now. That's incredible.
Did
you guys see that where like the ESPN zone is and AMC theaters? Like those two expansion areas.
Oh yeah.
And there's like ticket booths there now.
Yeah,
like,
you're right. Yep, you're right. You're right.
So now
there was another image too that if you look at the other rendering, that's the main one he's talking about. No, keep going up. That.
Oh, that one. Okay.
So he's talking about right here.
We're looking at the rendering again.
This is where he's talking about because we do know where the monorail loop is. So he's talking about right there.
Correct.
Yeah, that's not moving. So
that's not moving.
Kind of like you guess where everything's at.
Yeah.
Just that whole area.
Before we get into all that, so what is your take on why this and why now?
Well, you know, after the Eastern expansion, well, the Eastern Gateway, that was kind of a little bit of a fiasco, right?
Yeah. A little bit,
Combined with the hotel that they tried to build,
right?
That kind of fell on its face too.
Yeah.
They didn't seem to have a great relationship with the city, but I think after like this awful year that everyone had, I think maybe they kind of came together a little bit more and realized how much they need each other, and like let's try to jumpstart Anaheim's economy. You know, and this isn't going to be next year or anything.
No, not at all.
You know, I was talking to a friend about it, and she was saying that she read it was 2023 that they were kind of like floating around. I'm like, that seems way too soon, but maybe, you know.
Well, they're gonna.
Who knows? You know, that might be the next time we hear more information on it. Not like they would like start breaking ground on it, but I think it's like now's the chance to like get whatever zoning permits they need to be in their favor that currently are not. like, from what I understand is right now they could only build a parking lot in the Simba lot. They
Sure.
can't build theme park.
Right.
And now they're kind of trying to get it to be, hey, can we just build whatever we want to build on our own property? And I think that's what they're trying to get.
Which I would be like, why the heck not?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
And I think they're going to layer stuff. Because it's not a humongous space, right? Like each expansion on its own is not big enough to be a third park, but together that could kind of be the size of a third park, but they're just using they're using their space really wisely. Think about it like Alice in Wonderland on top of Mr. Toad's, right? There's probably going to be a lot of layering in this area just to get as much bang for their buck out of like the square footage that they actually have.
Yep.
But you combine it with hotels, underground parking, all that kind of stuff. That's what I think.
Okay. Well, so you touched on 2 points that I do want to go back to real quick, and they were the 2 points. The first part was the Eastern Gateway project. Now, I had mixed feelings about that. Like 2 years ago when they announced it, and initially I thought it was great, but then I felt a little bit of compassion for the people, the business owners on Harbor right there, like the McDonald's and Mimi's and not Captain Kidd's Buffet, whatever that thing is, but that area and these merchants. I mean, they effect would have been bypassed, right, by guests. Is that true or false?
Well, there would be a bridge. I think they could have. The plan did have them go, like, guests would park behind those hotels and have a bridge that kind of like passed all that kind of stuff up. Yeah. I think they could have figured something out where they wouldn't be, but then I think about the security, which was behind them as well. So they couldn't have like an escalator right there to kind of like get in there, but maybe there could have been a second security gate there. I figured like that kind of stuff could have been negotiated rather than just killing the whole thing.
I agree.
See, I like the Eastern Gateway because they knock down the Carousel Inn. They'd have that bridge pathway kind of hug where Harbor House is and kind of go up to the main entrance that way, which means DCA could expand all the way up to that. Mm-hmm. Which means that's a hell of a big show building right there.
It is. Yeah.
That's a new hotel, like a Hollywood themed hotel that's kind of like sticking into DCA right there as well. Yeah. Like there's a lot of stuff that you could do with that, but when this kind of all fell through, now we just have the Eastern Gate, the East Esplanade turnaround. Yeah. Which I'd much rather have a big ride right there.
Okay.
No, yeah. I remember when they were talking about the Eastern Gateway project that is exactly what we're talking about, how DCA could open that up, and then what could we get there? I think a lot of people were talking about with the ordering of the roller coaster, the mechanism and the actual fabrication of the Tron roller coaster. They had ordered a couple and like, hey, maybe it's going to go over there. I remember there was a lot of speculation around that time about where it would go, and that would be like maybe a cap ride if they didn't do that. And I remember all that going. Remember that. And that was all rolling around at the time, and then it all just kind of one day it felt like it just went boom, and everything
that's
what blew up. Yeah,
I think they were deciding on like where to put Marvel into DCA, and I think they were kind of like, well, do we put it in that weird area where Monsters Inc. is? Do we put it where Bugs Land is and expand that way? Like, what do we do? So I think that was kind of being dictated by what happens with that Eastern Gateway, right? Mm-hmm. But obviously they landed on just redoing the Tower of Terror and kind of like let's just keep Marvel right there. Mm-hmm. Side note to that though is when you think about what themes would be appropriate for these two expansion areas, the first thing that came to mind was, man, a Star Wars land and a Marvel land would have been really perfect right there. I wish rather than shoehorning it into like Disneyland and DCA, why wouldn't we have these two small mega lands? Like they can't. Those themes make sense to be on their own and not connected to Disneyland and not connected to DCA, just as in a pathway to get there. But I really wish that could have happened. But in the long run, the themes that they're kind of like dangling in front of us that might happen, they're Fantasyland type attractions and lands, right?
For sure. For sure.
So I think that's very telling on Fantasyland's future. Like maybe when they were thinking of like a Fantasyland expansion, maybe Storybook Land and Casey Jr. are safe from here on out.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
It could be.
I'm sure there was thought. There had to have been talk. I mean, I've drawn up some stuff just for fun.
Right, right.
How would I expand? Remember that?
I do.
So I'm like, I don't want
you.
to lose Casey Jr. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it makes me feel better about that. Those things, those classic areas staying as is.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I hope this makes them decide on what to do with Tomorrowland sooner rather than later.
You know, that I hadn't even thought of that, but I agree with you on that. I mean, because that if they move forward here and they continue to move forward with this, then we are gonna that whole area of Tomorrowland is now what do you call it now? I mean, it is weird. It has fallen
Future World.
Yeah, but yeah, they need to figure out what they're going to do there, and we've been talking about that for probably 3 or 4 years now on this show.
Tomorrowland?
Yeah, Tomorrowland, like
for as long as the show's been on.
Yeah, we've been talking about like what are they going to do, and now we're on like year 5 and nothing. We've gotten near. They took out the French fries. Oh yeah, cool, and they put up, they put up.
I'd never heard them called French fries until they were taking them away. So,
I also agree.
Oh yeah,
it never bothered me. But it sounds like everyone's happy that they're gone. It reminded me of Disneyland Paris, so I didn't mind it.
Okay, I think we called it the funnel of death right there too.
Yeah,
because everybody got funneled in there, and one of our friends of the show actually made a shirt that said "funnel of death" for that area right there.
Around Astro Orbiter.
yeah.
Well, hopefully, speaking of Tomorrowland, what I hope they do is, like, honestly, level all of Tomorrowland except for Space Mountain, and rebuild it from scratch. Because Tomorrowland 98 was just a paint job from Tomorrowland 67, and even Tomorrowland 67 reused those 2 main buildings from Inner Space and Circle Vision. There's part of those structures that are from 55.
Yeah,
like, come on.
Yeah. It's true.
It's not a museum. I think if you could do something really cool and high tech there and make it awesome, go for it.
Yeah, and
don't be hung up on it.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, we're in an age where I feel that land could be something amazing with where we are. I mean, to go IRL real quick. I mean, look at what we're doing with look at what like Elon Musk is doing. I mean, talking about Mars and lunar and landers and I'm sitting there at work on the background. I have my phone on and I'm watching him launch and test rockets. And I'm like, how am I here looking at this thing? Before it was only the government that could launch a rocket. Now we're watching a private entity do that. I'm talking about, hey, we're gonna sell passage into in the space pretty soon if you want to get on there. And you're like, how's Tomorrowland so behind?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
What if Disney got Elon to kind of help design the new Tomorrowland?
Ooh, everything has Tesla everywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Well, think about this. Here's the sad, not to bum everyone out, but if you think about it, the rocket rod tracks have been abandoned in plain sight for almost 2 decades.
Yeah.
I feel
that is a third of the entire time Disneyland's been open. Almost.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Man.
So it's just that something's got to happen.
Something's got to happen. Before we get to that, but the other point I wanted to talk about, besides Eastern Gateway, you brought up was that failed 4-star hotel that was right there in downtown Disney. And I, for one, am happy that failed.
Me too.
I feel that sometimes TDA misses the mark on who exactly their target audience is. Like, I know you live, I think, within 10 miles of the park, so you staying on property is probably nothing that you ever think about. Maybe special occasion or something you guys do, but
I wish.
Yeah, but a family of 4 or whatever, they're talking about a 4-star hotel.
Yeah.
Who can
beyond that? It was like a 5 diamond. It was like this ridiculous classification that made the Grand Californian just gonna go down a notch.
Yeah.
Right. So do you sometimes think that they missed the mark on this stuff?
Well, you know what? I think about it this way: is what that was is if you notice that they never really gave a name of that hotel. It was just like luxury Disney resort.
Yes.
Right next to the Disneyland Hotel. Right.
Yeah.
And if you look at a map of it, it's like a V shape. Right. If you think about what that old the concept art of that what that hotel was supposed to look like, it was like a V.
That's Trader Sam's right there. Okay, sorry.
My thought would be that they didn't give the name to it because it was the new Disneyland Hotel.
Oh.
Like if they were going to have a a super luxurious resort on property, they need to make sure that the best hotel on property is called the Disneyland Hotel.
Yep.
So I think they would have, this is like my wishful thinking, but I really wish they would have leveled those 3 old towers next to it.
Ooh.
Dude.
I said it.
You said it, but man, don't you feel the Disneyland Hotel is steeped in history as much as the park?
No.
Okay.
You know what?
Nope.
You know what? Walt didn't build it. Jack Rather?
Yeah, you're right. Jack Rather did.
Yeah.
Like here's the thing. Now that we're talking about building these immersive worlds on Galaxy's Edge level,
Right.
in this whole area, that block, right, from Catella all the way up to the Mickey and Friends parking structure. You're telling me that you want to see these buildings, these big rectangles sticking out in the middle of these themed areas? Like, say, like you're going to be in the middle of Wakanda, and you turn around, and here's like the '60s building looking at you.
You know, going back, sightline was important before. I get that, but I think, you know, the one thing that kind of eliminated sightline, I mean, sightline we all know was super important in the creation of the park. But now I think that has kind of gone to the wayside, especially with DCA. I mean, I get your point, but I don't think they have that priority in their mind. I'm like,
well, they did for Galaxy's Edge. That was a big deal. In fact, I think they made the whole look of it based off Thunder Mountain because they knew you'd see that. Like, that was really dictating a lot.
Yeah.
But you know, you might be right. I mean, you know, like for DCA, the berm wasn't super important because you're looking out to the real world, which is California. So that was kind of like an easy way out of that. But when they built Cars Land, the berm was very important because they needed to block out those power lines. So that's why if you look at the concept art on the new stuff for the DisneylandForward stuff, there's a lot of rock work in that.
There
which
is.
Tells me that they're spending the money to make that a berm. They're spending money to make sure that you feel like you're immersed. But the problem is, you're as immersed as you are, then you're going to just look around and see the Paradise Pier Hotel. That just doesn't look like anything I want to see in there. So, and this is like the bigger thing. It's not just so much the sightlines. You don't have many chances for free land to expand these parks into.
You're right.
I'd much prefer a clean slate creatively, rather than being like, okay, well, sorry, you got this building from the 70s here, and you have this other building, and like, trust me, I love Trader Sam's. I don't want that to go anywhere.
Yeah. No.
But when but like, that's why I'm like, I'm not as glued to it because it's not what it used to be. Even though they did fix it up a lot, it's still like these 3 big rectangles. And when you look at like how amazing the resorts are in Walt Disney World, it's not even close to that. It's, I don't know. And I'm just not, I don't think anything should really be off the table. If you're talking like what makes this park, what makes the resort as good as it possibly could be. You know, there's things I don't want to touch. Obviously, I would never touch the castle, and I don't want to touch the Matterhorn. And that's like why I said for Tomorrowland, keep the mountain, level everything else. You know, like I think, you know, we can't pretend what Walt would have wanted, but I think he would prefer us to not treat it like a museum and just to kind of like, what's next? How can we make this as killer as possible?
Yeah, you know, that is, I think, the debate that always begins when, you know, new ideas come into the park from different people is the argument about Walt. And for me, I always kind of go, well, yeah, maybe, but we're never going to know. And, you know, you kind of have to, and I've noticed in having many a discussion about people, well, that isn't what Walt would do, or that is what would Walt would be okay with that. And I always kind of go, and I always find it interesting because it always comes from that person's perspective. And I go, so you're using your perspective to argue for Walt. Okay, I get it. We all do it. I've done it. Yeah. So I do find that interesting. And you know, I can't disagree with you completely about that. I think you have to strike the balance between history and paying homage, and I think Disney, for the most part, has done that. They'll pay homage in some little tiny way if they've gone through and moved. I mean, we're talking about what they did with when Indy they have the was the Eeyore parking lot, I think, is in there. I mean, the sign is still tucked away. Yeah, little tiny like touches like that.
Winnie the Pooh has Country Bears in it.
Yeah, and I mean, weird little things like that, and that's kind of cool. But you know, I don't know. I keep on looking as we're talking. I keep on looking at the concept art, and I can't. You're talking, I'm like, man, you know, as much as that knee-jerk reaction, like, yeah, drop those buildings. I'm like, oh. And then I'm looking, I'm like, but he's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Well,
And
part of that is I just watched a video of the Grand Hotel demolition. I'm like, see, let's see that over there. And I know it's. Trust me, you're not the only person to think that might be sacrilegious. Of like, you can't get rid of that, right?
Right.
But it just goes back to like, okay, we don't have a lot of space. We're not Florida.
Mm-hmm.
We really have to use every square foot as best we can. Like, what is best for the resort to make it awesome? And I don't think it's really keeping those 3 old towers plus that new DVC unit. If going back to Westcott, like I always do, Westcott had hotels worked into the new attractions, right? You could actually stay in the park, and that kind of went on to live in DCA with the Grand Californian.
You're right.
But if you look at old maps and like ground plans of Westcott, they would have these different themed areas to around the world, but like those are all hotel rooms. All those windows above the theme park are hotel rooms. So why couldn't you do that for this? So say you have a Neverland hotel. That sounds kind of cool. Yeah. Right? Or like maybe your hotel is Wakanda. Like there's some really cool things you could do with that. That's just so much better than those 3 big rectangles. I don't know. More so with the Paradise Pier Hotel. That just sticks out like a sore thumb too, especially plus we don't even have a Paradise Pier anymore. So that's another thing that irks me.
Yeah, no, and I can't. I'm not gonna argue that because I have zero like any kind of connection to Paradise Pier. That could drop tomorrow. And be like, okay, like not a tear would come out of my eye, or not even a sniffle.
It should be, wasn't that the old Pan Pacific or something hotel? Yeah.
They used to have an amazing view of the parking lot.
Yeah.
But I'm glad it was there because I've been going through all my videos for my YouTube channel, and I've been finding all this cool stuff as when I would go there and rent a room, and then I would videotape the DCA construction. Amazing stuff when it's. I have one set of footage that's literally like you can see all the parking lot like lamp posts lying down because they just took them down and they're starting to dig up the asphalt. It's like wow, just crazy.
Wow.
See, that's the history I like. But it's the progress.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Building the resort,
Well, the one thing that I can say about this is that I'm excited for. I mean, for a lot of things, but rolling out after the year that we've been through, and then having the failure before of the Eastern Gateway project, and then the the 4-star hotel. Now, that to me signaled before that Disney was continuing to try to look forward and continue to look for things to improve overall.
Yeah.
This coming out of nowhere, and I'm excited because especially coming out of the year, that means that they're not stopping. They took the year of the COVID shenanigans, as I'm calling them, and we're coming to a spot where they want to, I think, kind of springboard out and go, look, we know we've all been through a tough year. Let's move forward, and this is what we want to do. So I appreciate the timing that they're doing with it right now. We have good news with the park, reopening finally. We have these things to be positive about. And I think this is one of the other things that they're using it as to kind of build momentum for the next, 5 to 10 years easily. If not, I'm kind of the thought, I think they may go into overdrive and try to push as much as they can out.
Well, they can't.
As quick as they can.
They can't until they get approval from the city.
Well, I know, but
which is why I think
they'll get that.
I think they will because this last year proved the city of Anaheim that this is the what is the frame? The golden.
The golden goose.
The golden goose.
The golden goose. Yeah. Sorry, golden hen, whatever. The golden goose. Yeah. It really is.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
definitely.
Yeah. You think about it. The city of Anaheim and Orange County and Disney all kind of united against and try to push back into the with the closures. And I remember when that happened, I kind of went, this might be the seventh sign when all these government agencies and Disney, where they aren't always getting along, and here they all joining behind, trying to get reopened. So I think, again, looking at the year that we've had of the pandemic, that Anaheim is going to be incentivized to let that go and let it roll and get it moving because they need to revitalize the city really, really badly. Convention center, all the hospitality and everything has been really decimated by this.
It just seems that the timing of it boils down to, they're going to strike while the iron's hot. Right?
Yeah.
If they've always wanted this, now's the chance to do it.
Sure.
I think that's why it was fast-tracked.
Yep.
And it's very well, this might not happen for 10 years. Right?
I agree.
Yeah.
But the fact that they might not be able to get this kind of rezoning call-outs later, so let's try to do this now.
Yeah, sure.
But at the same time, I think Bob Chapek's trying to, make his mark and do some big wow factors too. So this might be maybe like something pushed by him to kind of like, hey, let's what can he do? Because Bob Iger did so much. Eisner did a ton. Bob Iger did.
Yeah.
Bob Iger's amazing, right? So I think that I think it might be Chapek trying to like, cement his kind of legacy with Disneyland Resort too. I want to go back to one thing you said about the fancy hotel that didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
I think they do a ton of research, and I think that they know that up until the pandemic, the Grand Californian is pretty expensive, right? What is it, $700 a night?
Yeah.
And it's the occupancy rate was probably almost always sold out. So there's people that are down to pay that much for that hotel. Then I think they're trying to up the ante, going, okay, well, let's see what's the next level that they could do. Which I don't know if that means that Grand California would actually go down or not to like allow other budgets to kind of say that too.
I doubt they would have. I doubt they would have.
I thought about that while I was spitting it out.
No,
but
no. Yeah, I hear where you're going on that.
But I do think that there's they want to cater to those folks that spend a lot of money,
right? Because
they spend a ton of money, and if those hotel rooms are full, they're thinking about how much revenue they can make off it. I don't think they would build it if they didn't think that they would have like a similar occupancy rate.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. It's just, I don't know. I guess I was mostly frustrated with that because the Grand Californian is so crazy expensive, and just how much more can they push on them?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think they should balance it by having something that is not necessarily like all-star level, but something a little bit more moderate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's when I think about a hotel on the East Esplanade area, I think about there's a hotel at Tokyo Disneyland called the Ambassador Hotel. It has a very cool Art Deco Hollywood vibe. That would be really cool to have as in the Hollywood section of DCA. And it's weird to think that, wow, DCA might have two hotels that are like linked to the park, but why not? Like, and it serves as another berm by having like that kind of tower, and the more Art Deco, the better, I think.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm not going to complain about that. Oh, so since we're on this design, which is I guess what we're talking about in general, anyways, what are your thoughts on what it looks like from the? Let's talk about Disneyland real quick. The Disneyland side of things, it looks like it's coming right out of Critter Country, right past like Pooh's Corner. I'm guessing is from the artist's rendering here.
Yeah, I think it's a pathway right there. And
that goes right into, and of course I looked on Google Earth or Maps or whatever to see if that was actually feasible. And of course it is feasible. They wouldn't have done it if it wasn't. So what's your thoughts on what Disneyland expanding versus one whole third gate? Do you think there's like a psychological thing where they go, okay, TDA is thinking there's a guest that's going to go. If there's a third gate, we can get these guys in here for another full day or full 2 days because they're not going to be able to see everything. Or,
my speculation is that even though they're not building a third gate, I think they're going to find a way to charge as if it is a third gate, even though it's an expansion of existing parks. Because if you think about it, when Harry Potter opened up at Universal in Florida, and when Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opened up here, there was an assumption that it was its own theme park and people were ready to, open up their wallets and go. And then and then they realized, oh wait, it's part of Disneyland. Oh, okay, and they put their wallet away. So I think it's almost like and especially if they do stuff that's like magic bands or the way they do tickets now is it's a lot different. It's a lot more seamless, right? I think they're going to find a way to have guests pay to get into those areas. I would think.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right on that. It just seems to me, I don't know. I mean, do you like having Disneyland do that, extend over there into that section, or would you rather it didn't do that?
I think it's more of a pathway than expansion, because it's not going to be another land, and that's the hardest thing is we don't know what they're building over there.
No, we don't. Absolutely not.
And going back to what I said earlier is I think that the themes that they pick aren't necessarily going to relate to Disneyland or DCA. They're going to relate to something on their own or to each other. Basically, like a Fantasy Springs type vibe going all the way across. But I don't think it's because they're not going to expand the California theme into DCA's expansion. I think that is going to stay in DCA. Like, why would they have another California area to be hung up on? And especially when you see the artwork, it's like Neverland or something.
It is, but so you don't think there's going to be some IP that they haven't used yet in Disney's that they're going to port over to here?
It just seems like it's all Fantasyland type stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like anything kind of like dangled in front of us, it's Frozen. It's that kind of stuff. It's stuff that they didn't want to like. They don't want to level Disneyland proper,
right?
So they want to build it out there. So it's almost a little redundant as like its own Fantasyland. So that's the hard part. It's like how do you make the themes make sense? You know, it's almost like it's really challenging right there.
Yeah. So whatever this third area is, you think from Disneyland to DCA in those sections, you think that's all going to be related to itself, and then but independent of DCA and Disneyland.
Yeah, because I'm trying to wrap my brain around it. And I think
I know, right?
To have it make sense, it just doesn't make sense to have the theme tie back to the park it came from. More so, Disneyland could have it tie back because it's Disneyland, but something like California Adventure, I just can't picture a more California Adventure across the street. I think it would be really limiting to those themes because even right now they're like, how do we make this work in a California park, right? Like some people say they've given up on that, but like I think the California theme is still good and it's strong, but it should stay on that side of Disneyland Drive. And I think if they want to explore it, that's what's so neat about it is they're using their limited footprint so wisely, and they're just giving people what they want, right? Here's the most popular IPs that they have.
Yeah.
You want to go to Neverland? Cool. Here's Neverland. Here's something from Tangled. Here's Frozen. I don't know what the other ones are either. But we don't know any of them. But as far as the ones that they showed, they did talk about Zootopia.
Yeah. Well, that section that is over by DCA, I mean, boy, that looks pretty interesting. I'm looking at a picture now. I can't get my mind around what that is. Is that the Neverland stuff? Or?
It might be Neverland.
Or Moana. It looks like either one.
It could be either one.
Yeah, I see. I want to walk around there like right now. What's going on? Yeah. And look at the gateway from DCA into there. It looks like you go under a bridge, under a walkway, into some sort of forest area, and whatever those shield buildings.
You know what I mean? It's not like it's right up against it. There's enough of like a transition trail to get you to that new area to where I think that it's okay if it's a brand new theme. It's almost like we're just going to jam pack as much cool stuff as we can here.
Sure.
And I'm okay with that. Like, I don't think it really, I actually don't want it to be expanded DCA. I think it'd be really weird and a bad idea.
Well, yeah, and looking at the concept, I mean, they already did that with Galaxy's Edge. You know, you walk a certain, length in, and you already lose track of where you're coming from, and it completely changes you or transforms you and carries you to Galaxy's Edge. So I don't see why they wouldn't do. I agree with you completely. I don't see why they would not do the identical thing right here because it looks like looking at the concept, it would be perfect right there.
It's almost like I could picture you need a certain wristband to get in there, or you need a certain magic band, or your alarm starts going off. Like they're going to make sure. I think they're going to separate. I don't think it's just like, all right, for the same price of the ticket, now here's like another third of the park they expanded.
And right.
Or they'll use it as a reason to, again, raise the ticket price. Because now you're going to be like, hey, I think we've talked about it before. When you look at a breakdown of what you spend to get in the park and the overall value, it is a high-value ticket. Even though you are paying much more up front, you're getting a lot out of it. So I see your point, but I would not be surprised if they just go, okay, now we're going to raise an overall ticket price by X amount of dollars and go like, hey, and now they can literally point at that and go like, that is why. Look how much more we're now giving you for your dollar. So I can see them working that both ways. But
either way, someone's going to pay for it.
Exactly.
It's not, even though it's not a third park.
Yeah.
No.
They're going to charge as if it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
They
I
could
don't think the
easily.
prices are going to double, but
No,
we're gonna
I
pay
think.
for it.
Yeah, I think maybe they'd go like, hey, we're going to raise it like $40. So like, a daily pass is going to be like $180. Bordering on $200.
Oh,
And,
yeah, that's coming anyways.
Yeah, I know,
That's-
and I don't see why if they when in fact they get all of that done, that I would be more like, okay. But I get it, because look how much more we have going on. And then the other thing that I think is great is it will further incentivize people to have a multiple days in the park. I mean,
Yeah.
we already go. I mean, when we go, I'm there 3 days. I maximize every hour in my day to get as much as I can, and that would make it even more. And maybe even try to incentivize me to stay a little bit more on property, because then I'd be much closer to everything that's going on. I can kind of use
You're
it as
in
a
the
little,
magic, Udi. You're staying in the magic.
Yeah, staying in the magic, and then it could be more of a hub of where I'm moving from and
Sure.
going in and out. So I mean, yeah, I can, man, so many different ways to go with it.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
You know what's cool to think about is, like, I think they want most folks to come from the Mickey and Friends and the Pixar parking structures. So picture you hop on the tram and you're riding down that little pathway, then you get off. With this plan, you could either make a left and go to Disneyland and DCA, the classic Esplanade area, or you can make a right and you could enter the resort, the theme parks on that side now, which is mind-blowing.
That is mind-blowing, right?
It's a real game changer. Like, they really were wise, I think, about expanding that way. And well, we haven't even gotten to the Toy Story lot area.
No, we haven't yet. But let's just, on this map, just real quick, it looks to me like in this, the artist rendering and then the overhead view of the plan, it looks like downtown Disney is like 2/3 of it is gone.
Yeah, well,
or am I looking at it wrong?
No, I think you're right. Everything past, well, it's kind of gone already, isn't it?
Well,
they shut ESPN Zone down, and now Rainforest is like a Star Wars store, but AMC's just sitting there.
But
it's that whole area would be a new Esplanade for the two entrances.
Yeah, but if we look at the monorail loop, where it's looking now, I know where the Rainforest Cafe is right to the right of it. It's if you look down under the faded image here, there's nothing there. I mean, you see monorail track and you see like a street. You don't see any buildings. So
yeah, I think that's like a new. It's like a new Esplanade. It's a new face-to-face park entrances.
Oh, okay.
That's what I've gathered, especially from the ground plan site. You could tell it looks like there's ticket booths over there too.
Yeah.
Like a place to enter.
Yep.
Which is really cool for flow. Like they want you to pay for access to all this stuff.
Mm-hmm. There's
so
no
it's not like
Disney right there. Okay.
So here's like Critter Country. It's no longer a dead end. That's a path that you could actually walk around into. Picture being able to walk into eventually into DCA from Critter Country. It's just it's going to be a big loop.
That's crazy, right?
I love it.
Well, but if they did that, then then I think that lends a lot more credence to your idea that they're going to have to wind up where you're going to delineate where you're going to pay, because now we have the Esplanade, a clear line of like, if you're going to go here, you got to pay to get in there. So yeah, I mean that is definitely going to blur that line, because when you look at it again, like that overhead one. Yeah, definitely. It looks like you will walk all the way around, or you will be able to make one big massive
I think there
loop.
might even be not necessarily like a turnstiles, but some kind of ticket entrance to go to that area. They're going to make sure that you've paid the right ticket to go have access to go through there.
Yeah.
Kristen Carr from Mousetalgia, her handle is the happiest club on earth. When we were talking about this, she was saying that it's, how did she put it? It's like the international gateway at Epcot. You know what I mean? It's just it's still a park entrance. It's just on the side in a way. And it's just pay to access, right? You're going to pay to play to go to all these areas. Whether it's that or whether they double the price of a ticket, which I don't know. I could see them maybe doing that, but I still think like you're going to pay to go to these new areas.
Okay, so let's go talk about this Toy Story lot. Something clever came out of this the other day, and someone online did the square footage. How many are like the acres of this place? Did you know that it's roughly the same as DCA?
I looked it up too. Yeah,
and he wasn't wrong, right? He was correct.
Well, DCA opened. It was 55 acres.
Oh, okay.
And the Toy Story lot, as of now, I believe is 72 acres.
Yeah.
But if the way I would ideally like it is if you had the entire corner, right? I know they just built a Walgreens and some new hotels right there, but if they were to get the entire corner, they could get up to like 90 acres right there. That's humongous. But what they were looking like doing down there in the artwork that they released was a Disney Springs kind of model.
Yes.
But with hotels mixed into it.
Yes. Yeah.
And they specifically mentioned,
which is the other picture.
What's it called? The Indiana Jones bar. Jock Lindsay's.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That type of stuff. Like that. It's not like more downtown Disney. It's like.
Have you been to that bar?
Very themed restaurants. I didn't get to partake, but when I was there my last trip in January, I had to walk in there. I took a look at it.
How was it?
Pretty cool.
That's cool.
It looks awesome. Yeah, I love the stuff on the wall. I could have looked on the walls for a while there.
Is it a restaurant?
It's smaller than I thought.
Is it a restaurant?
It's a restaurant bar.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's in the area that was part of the original Pleasure Island. I'm not sure which building it took over, but.
Well, so Toy Story parking lot here. So what do you think of the artist rendering of that? I mean, what is your take of what's going on there? Do you think it's like a Disney Springs, or is that like a lodging, like meeting facility?
I think it's Disney Springs with hotels. I think it's Orange County's Americana or the Grove. That it's going to be cool enough on its own. Downtown Disney is there because it happens to be there. I say it's kind of like the it's an exit to the gift shop type of like setup where you either on your way to Disneyland. It's not a destination, even though we all went there like it was during the pandemic.
Sure,
but like it's you're traveling through it. This, on the other hand, would be more of a destination, not just because you have hotels there, but you have like just a really cool atmosphere of like the lagoon, some cool eateries, maybe some theater type stuff. Just entertainment type of restaurant and Americana. I don't know if you've been up there in Glendale, but or is it Pasadena? But there's the Americana and the Grove. It's the new kind of shopping district where it's malls are kind of dead. Even like the concept of a city walk or downtown Disney, it's kind of old news. Like Disney Springs is like the primo example of like a modern crowds area where they want to be.
Okay.
And spend money, I think it's a great idea because there's really not enough room to do that with downtown Disney, and it doesn't really serve it's too hard to get to.
Yeah.
This, on the other hand, will be a little bit easier for non-resort guests to access. I think it's going to be a big local hangout. It's like that new wow place that you got to take someone there, and you don't have to pay all this money to get in here.
No, and
you'll pay for dinner when you're there, but you don't have to pay to get in.
And it's proximity to the convention center, right?
That's huge.
Yeah.
And Angel Stadium. Think about that. Like Gene Autry Way dumps right there.
Does it? See, I don't know where that is compared to everything. I've never been to that stadium, so it's just it must be south, I guess, of that.
What's kind of cool is Angel Stadium is talking about having some expansion too.
Yeah.
To do like it almost looks like a river walk. I don't know if they're still having that, but like they're building up all the area that currently is parking lot and making it like something similar to that. So it's almost the amount of growth in Anaheim is just insane right now with all these concepts. Okay,
so what's to become of the Pumbaa parking lot?
I think that has to be a structure.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it has to be another structure. I think they'll have some kind of bridge entrance that will probably work with the locals on Harbor Boulevard right there. I think they knew that they don't want to leave them in the dark.
Okay.
By like having everyone skip over them. I don't think they necessarily want that.
Right.
But they were trying to think of like, how do we utilize our space? We own this property over there.
Yeah.
Let's get people in here. And I think they didn't go for it, right? The locals.
They didn't go for it. No.
But I do think that with Garden Walk right there, Garden Walk's going to be thriving too, because that's going to be a big thoroughfare to get to this Disney Springs area. So like everyone wins, right?
Is that like is that a reasonable walk from like?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yep.
I think so. I mean, I would walk from Toy Story lot to Disneyland often, and I didn't mind doing that.
I have made that walk by Garden Walk because the Motel 6 that I walk right by it.
Oh, do you?
On the way in, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right by it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to picture that.
Yeah, I mean, it probably about a 10-minute walk before you get there, roughly, depending on how quick you want to move.
Okay.
But yeah, for me, I mean, it was a 10-minute walk. I had no problem. Yeah, very easily accessible. Yeah.
We could do a lot of talking about Garden Walk.
Sure.
But up until recently, they just opened up the hotels, where hotels were supposed to be a part of it from the very beginning, and they never happened. So the mall was dying because like there's no mall there, like there's no hotel there. But now that they have like the JW Marriott and I think another one too, and there's even like on the parking structure for Garden Walk, there's still rebar sticking out of the pylons because they want to build another hotel on top of the structure there.
Is
and they
that
just haven't done it yet?
Is that like where that new Westin hotel's going?
It might be. I think. Is it a new one or? Oh, are you thinking of? That's the one behind California Screaming.
Yeah,
Sorry, in Critico.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, but it's like another cool rooftop bar around Anaheim. That grab a drink and watch fireworks. So
that's it. Yeah,
the more the merrier.
Sure.
But they do need to build some bridges. That's the thing too.
Build some
I don't want
bridges.
all these families crossing streets right around here.
Yeah, no, I agree. It is always sketchy when you're walking across, having that sea of people going and trying to run lights and walk, and people don't care. Yeah,
Sam, it's too bad they don't have any sort of concept or design of like an elevated people transporter. That they could
something that moves people.
Yeah, I mean,
I know, right?
Gosh, I wonder they need to get their top men on that. It's too bad they don't have that technology in their quiver.
I would love to have a new people mover. However, the Skyliner at Disney World is a total game changer. I wouldn't mind Skyliner over here.
Why is it a game changer?
Oh my gosh, to be able to get from Hollywood Studios to Epcot and
it looks.
I don't know
great.
how far that is.
It looks great.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's the toughest part about Disney World because everything's kind of far away from each other.
Okay.
And then especially like if you're at one of the hotels, like beforehand, it was like, Pop Century, Art of Animation Hotel, and then Caribbean Beach, now Riviera. They all have Skyliner stations. So that's to me as good as a monorail stop.
Oh.
It's so easy just to hop on these skyways and it just zips you to like either Epcot or to Hollywood Studios, and hopefully they expand that, and then you can take it to Animal Kingdom, right? It's kind of like the new monorail.
Okay.
And it's just really just a sufficient way to transport a ton of people, and it looks really cool because everywhere you go, there's a Skyliner just going everywhere.
Nice. Okay, I'm down with that.
I wouldn't mind having that there. Even more so if you wanted to have because that's what's cool about a Skyliner. It's not just like the old Skyway that was Tomorrowland to Fantasyland, this one straight way. This thing makes left turns, right turns. It has stations where you get off and get on another one to go to the right hotel. Like if you really wanted to do it
transfer?
right, you could have it go to Angel Stadium if you wanted to. Do you know what I mean? I think this whole thing could really connect the Arctic, the convention center. It could connect the resort, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool. Like there's a lot of opportunity with the Skyliner, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Now that you've sold me on it, no, I have. I know there is a workaround for this. They and I know they have the technology that they can do that. Right on. So we're looking at about probably 10 years before we see any inkling of this, right? Is that what your guess is?
I'm going to go.
Yeah, I think the next thing we hear about it will be it actually going to like something for the city approval. Like that's the next thing that we hear. And honestly, who knows when that could be even like a year from now, right? Okay. They're gonna get the whole town and all the Disney nerds excited about it, which I am.
I'm stoked. I'm stoked.
And then they get the city to buy off and go, zone whatever you want to zone, and then they have it in their back pocket. Then they know, like, okay, well, when do we really want to do this? And then it might be like 5 years from then. Well, we just don't know.
Well, and under normal conditions, I would agree, but I don't know. I feel like there's going to be a fire, the closure of the park for the year and everything we've gone through. I think there's going to be a significant fire lit under a lot of people to get projects like this moving, because everything that this brings is nothing but positivity. So we're talking Disney brand, we're talking about jobs. We're talking about,
careers,
money coming,
careers, I might add, not just jobs.
Yeah, careers and everything you got going on. It is nothing but a win-win, and being that, again, like Anaheim being the type of town it is, it needs that kind of rejuvenation. So
Orange County needs it. You're right.
Yeah. So, I feel like a lot of people are going to be highly incentivized on every level to begin moving forward quickly. And I think Disney, if they're smart, which I've been questioning them lately, but I'm not going to go there.
They are.
If they're smart with it, they're going to push. I think they need to push. I think part of the reason why they unveiled this and are showing it is to get the people moving, and then have that further in their back pocket as evidence, like, hey, this is going to be a huge, massive success and a win-win for everybody. So anybody having a problem with it, let's figure it out real quick and get moving on it. That's the way I feel. Maybe it's a little bit of...
right.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be really amped, and they're looking for positivity and hope.
Yeah.
And right here, I mean, I saw this and I instantly, like everybody, we got super excited.
Yeah,
Like,
I got into a panic.
Yeah.
What's going on? I got overload.
Yeah. So I that is the way I feel. I think everybody's gonna be highly incentivized, and we may be hearing about how quickly they want to move forward, because we all know that when entities get together and they're all on the same page and they want to move forward, they can. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this might be that nice, unique little perfect storm of all these different factors coming together to have a bunch of different people who may not have always agreed or been a long fight to come to a point of consensus. That may all go away, and this may be moving a lot quicker. Maybe it's a little bit of optimism bias, maybe, sure, but hey, I'm going to go with it.
You know, it seems like some kind of expansion that Tokyo would do, right? And I'm hopeful that, because the way Japan spends money, the OLC out there, it's like their return on investment is a different kind of time frame than what we're used to. I feel like they want to make their money a lot faster here in the States than they do out there. Like, they know that they'll make it back eventually over there, so that they spend all this money. And yeah, it's these ridiculously amazing attractions and lands and theme parks out there. Where here is they don't kind of spend that much money because they spend just enough to make the kind of investment that they want on it. I'm hoping that like they could have a mindset more of like Japan does, to kind of spend the money to make it really like the best thing in the world. Because I think they did learn a lesson with spending, less than $1 billion on DCA, mm-hmm. and then having to spend more than that to fix it. Mm-hmm. So I think with this next thing, it's crazy. I think with this thing, I think they've learned from that, and they don't want to get themselves in a situation like that again. So I think this next expansion they'll know how to do it right this time.
For sure.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, I'm so stoked with this. All right, so just to recap here, we've got a proposal from TDA with the city of Anaheim. Hey, this is what we can do on this land that we own, and we want it rezoned to have us do whatever we want. Seems fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
Seems reasonable. And Udi says within 5 years, Sam and I are like in the 10-year frame. Sam thinks that the IP will be independent of DCA and Disneyland in its own entity, which I think is a solid point.
I concur. I concur with that, yeah.
Although I would like to see like some Enchanted Forest or something in there from...
I don't know, man.
Some sort of Robin Hood or...
I would love Robin Hood.
Or like a Villains Park or something like that.
Ooh, all good. All good ideas, man. The mind begins to run around.
Yeah, there's so many cool things going on in my head just looking at this stuff. Right on. Okay, so what else do we have going on with this? Anything? Hey, Sam, did you see the Disneyland Railroad today?
The what?
Did you see the Disneyland Railroad pulling into the Main Street station?
I did, and something was weird with my eyes. It started watering.
Yeah, I happened to be eating like a full-on onion salad at the time.
Man, that sound was so cool.
Wasn't it amazing? Oh my Lord!
This had to be like from 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, no, today you hear that? I'm like, so cool. Oh
yeah, my gosh. Okay, so yeah, what else anything else you want to cover on this?
Well, it's. One thing that I think about too is like, it's so fun to brainstorm and kind of think about what you would like. And then this is the kind of thing that we're going to be brainstorming and, nerding out about for years probably.
Yes.
The thing to remember is if they don't build what you've been kind of building in your head, it's okay. You know what I mean? It reminds me of like the new Star Wars. Like everyone was thinking how that should go with like Luke Skywalker and whatnot. And here's a whole other show, right? But they decided to go a different direction and everyone hated it because it wasn't what they envisioned in their mind. it's one thing I think about for this kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Of course.
I have some faith in their pixie dust that it's going to be killer. I think they've learned from their mistakes on like DCA 1.0, and I think they would knock this out of the park. You know what I mean? And because I might be thinking like, oh man, I really want Wakanda, and if they didn't build Wakanda, I'm not going to be like pissed about it. Like I'm just stoked that they're investing in this. And
sure. As an artist and designer, Sam, what is the one thing that you want that you really, really want out of this?
Ooh. Besides knocking down the Disneyland Hotel, dude, I hate for that. I don't know. I just want, I want something that would be original, that would be a destination, not a clone from Florida.
Okay.
I don't mind the clones from Asia, just because it's not as common for people to see both.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like the DCA is the only one that has Cars Land. Like that's pretty cool that DCA has something as original as that.
Yeah.
I just hope for stuff that you really can't get anywhere else.
Like a Matterhorn or something.
Yeah.
Well, you got Expedition Everest, I suppose, but that isn't the same thing.
No.
Totally different. Okay. I'm totally.
Yeah, I want some original stuff. Something that's just in Anaheim.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm so down with that. And I hope at some point we get some sort of Tron coaster out there in one of the lands that's existing. Okay. Right on. And then I'm going to put you on the spot just real quick, Sam. So when everything returns to normal and people are going back at maximum capacity and stuff, I'd like to maybe meet up with you at the park at some point. And we already talked about doing that, but maybe we do like a, we spend a few hours at DCA with you and some other listeners or something. And
that'd be fun.
And you can sort of show us your favorite things at DCA and inside things that a lot of us just don't know because we're not Sam Carter. How does that sound?
Actually, I would love to go with someone that doesn't roll their eyes when I tell them like some fun fact, and they're like, "Yeah, I know. You tell us every time we go." So a new batch of people that will not roll their eyes with me for like spitting out trivia. Yeah, yes. I'm all for that.
Okay, so we can set that up with you then. You're sure. Cool, awesome. See how we do it?
Yeah, that's how we do it.
Cool, awesome. And then when we'll all buy some Sam Carter artwork or something somewhere.
Oh, that'd be nice.
We can still get it, right?
Yeah, there's some stuff in the Wonderground Gallery.
Okay.
And then there's the non-Disney stuff I have on my website, samcarterart.com.
I've been checking your stuff out, man. Yeah, I like that Goonie stuff you did.
Thank you. I love that too.
Yeah, nice octopus reference in there. I commented on your picture. It's like, yeah, okay.
Thanks, man.
Okay, and so you have a new podcast. Do you mind sharing telling the listeners about that?
Yeah, thank you. It dropped today.
Ooh.
World premiere was today, and it's ironically also about Disneyland Forever, the first episode. It was me and Kristen Carr chatting about our thoughts on it because I haven't had a chance to really nerd out about it until that. So it's fresh on the mind. That's why I'm able to chat about it right now. But
cool.
I wanted to do a podcast that, not so much covering like the news events, even though that's what we kicked it off with, but I wanted to have something that talked about more of like the artwork behind all this creative, experience.
Yeah.
And whether that's talking to people from the industry, like chit-chatting about what makes them tick, or it might be kind of just looking back at, I always post on my YouTube channel old parades.
Yes.
I think I'm going to start doing some kind of like commentary type stuff on that. Maybe like people that work the parade, we chat about what it was like working Light Magic. I'm friends with the tech director on Light Magic. We still talk, so I think we might do a show diving in. Imagine talking to the tech director of Light Magic. Like there's things I've been wondering this whole time.
Okay.
That kind of stuff. So it's like a little behind the scenes, but nothing, not too far peeking behind the curtain because I love keeping the integrity of all the magic and all that kind of stuff.
For sure, absolutely.
But it's just like it's more about paying homage to all this because it's weird how long ago the 90s were. Like I have to remind myself, like, holy God, that's crazy. Like I don't feel old. I still feel like I'm 25. But
I know, right?
I'm 42. I was a teenager when I started working at Disneyland, So,
jeez.
And I that's why I have all this old footage. It's like I was there all the time. I grew up there, right? So that's what's exciting too about this expansion. Wrapping it all up in a bow. Going to Disneyland as a kid, knowing what it was like when it still felt mom and pops in the early 80s.
Yep.
Being a teenager when you could still, go to Tomorrowland Terrace in the early 90s and dance to No Doubt, or like
yeah,
just having a good time out there, and then seeing the resort coming to life with DCA, and then wondering about this third park, and even just this week hearing about Disneyland Forward.
Mm-hmm.
We love this place for a reason.
Yep.
And it's just cool to see it grow, and we all care about it, and it's just fun to talk about.
Right on. Well, awesome. I look forward to hearing more of those. And if you need our help with anything, if you need our help with anything, just let us know.
Yep.
Not that you would, but if you did, yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank
Sure.
you. Yeah, it's Tartar Sauce Theater is my YouTube channel.
And it's on all of our favorite platforms.
No, maybe I could pick your brain and tell me how to do that. I've only put it on YouTube, so I'm not the pro when it comes to that stuff.
He's the man.
That's your forte.
Yeah. Yeah. We can talk later about that.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, I want to put it on wherever I can, really, because it's a video.
It's a video.
It's on
Okay.
YouTube right now, and it's the two of us talking. But I dropped in probably like 50 different pieces of concept art that we're talking about. Like if the conversation goes a certain way, the concept art is there.
Oh,
Even we talk about something older, like we were talking about Disney Springs, and I dropped in concept art of when they're. It's all about the concept art.
Oh, nice, dude.
Kind of like
okay, now I get it. Cool. Okay. All right. Now I'll probably watch it tomorrow. Or in fact, Udi's going to go on it right now. It looks like.
Yeah, check it out.
Okay. Right on. Again, this is Sam Carter here from Tartar Sauce and Carter Creative, right? Okay.
Yep, that's right.
Right on. Okay, so listeners, check him out on YouTube at what are we looking for again, Udi?
YouTube is Tartar Sauce Theater.
Tartar Sauce Theater.
And samcarterart.com is my website.
Gotcha. All right, we're doing it now as we speak. He's a very slow typer, I might add.
Yeah, because I don't do that for a living.
He doesn't do it for a living. No.
I swing a hammer, grind metal. That's what I do for a living.
Okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Have you gone to Knott's lately, Sam?
I went to the Boysenberry Festival.
How was that? It's good?
I love it. Knott's is the best. Knott's is actually my very first job. I was a sweeper.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You had mentioned that before.
Yeah, Knott's is like a second home to me. And it still feels mom and pops. That's why I love it.
It totally does. So do you live closer to that park or Disneyland?
No, I'm closer to Disneyland.
Okay.
Knott's is probably like a 15-minute drive instead of a 10-minute drive.
Gotcha.
Can't complain.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
he's loading it right now. Here we are.
I recognize that license-free music.
There we go. All right.
Okay.
I got it up.
All right. Awesome. We'll check it out.
Yep.
All right, man.
Right on. Wait, thank you so much for having me. Always a pleasure. And invite me back anytime.
Oh yeah.
It is mostly our pleasure as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's our pleasure. We love talking to you.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
Yeah, we look forward to meeting you in person and doing the DCA tour and getting a drink or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, sounds good.
All right.
Lamplight Lounge. Lobster nachos, please.
All right.
Oh, there we go.
I haven't had that yet, so I gotta try that.
No.
Okay.
Oh, it's so good.
Right on.
Hey, thanks, guys. I'll see you later.
Okay,
All right,
guys.
thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Yep. Bye. Hey, LTV listeners, welcome back. That was a very awesome interview we had with Sam Carter. Definitely part of the LTP family now. Always enjoy talking to him. Very good insight. Again, thank you, Sam, for taking time out of your evening. Yeah, it's a little late here. We're doing it, but this is what we do. This is how we do it to get you guys the content. Thanks again for everyone today and this evening getting this podcast out and contributing. If you like this show, please leave a comment on whatever platform you're listening to right now, whatever star, any words, whatever you want to leave, like a review. We would love it. Again, follow us on leavingtodaypodcast.com, and you can be a Patreon supporter there. We make all the details easy for you to do. That didn't make sense, but the details are there. It's late. I'm sorry, guys and girls and listeners. But Udi, where can people find out more about you?
You can find me on all of my socials, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, all HAXGOALIE, Hacks Goalie. And you can find me on my other podcast, The Mando Show. There you go.
Yeah, right on. And again, if you want to listen, just send us an email at info@leavingtodaypodcast.com or follow us on Instagram at leavingtodaypodcast.com, and Twitter and Facebook are the same way. Thank you so much for joining us tonight again. And I'm just going to say this right now for all of you guys listening right now. It's been a rough year. I'm not going to lie. But we are on the end of this silliness.
Mm-hmm.
We have everything in our crosshairs now of when the park's opening. We are less than 25 days away. Less than 25 days away from the park opening. Good things are happening. Disneyland Railroad was at Main Street Station today doing its thing. I'm feeling optimistic about a lot of stuff, and I know that the next 12 months are going to be great for the LTP and everyone in the Disneyland community.
Yep, I completely agree. I think we've all been through the ups and downs of the year, and we've all been through a lot. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that has unified all of us is the park, and now we're actually, we have that light coming in like that, the lighthouse coming through the fog, like here we are. Yep. We're finally getting to that point. We've been through the muck and the mire for a long time, much longer than I think anybody had anticipated. But yeah, the overall feeling should be hope. And I think we all have it. I'm incredibly grateful for everybody who has continued to kind of give us words of encouragement and support through that. Mm-hmm. And I know quite a few people have thanked us for continuing to move forward through all of it and not falling off and continuing to try to keep the positivity going. Even though we didn't always accomplish the positivity part, but we were here.
Yep.
And I will take the moment to thank you all, everybody, for continuing to be with us and follow along with us and continue to be part of the LTP family. And we're here, folks. We're getting to that point where I don't think we're going to have a negative turnaround. I think we only have the bright skies in front of us, and that is what I'm looking forward to. And now, more than ever, I'm getting more excited about having a day where we can finally meet many of our listeners face to face, and I'm going to be the madman without a mask. I just won't do it. But, that is me. But that being said, I just going to take a moment to thank you guys again. And, we're here. We're almost here. We're almost here. So we're getting near that finish line.
We are. Well said.
Yep.
And again, everyone who stuck with us for the last 12 months, thank you. You've made it all worthwhile.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. We were never going to stop anyways, I'll tell you that. It's just some shows were hard to get through, or just to go, what are we going to talk about?
Yeah.
But we made it through getting funny and getting clever and getting angry and sad and happy again and all that great stuff.
Riding the wave.
Riding the wave. All right, guys and girls. Again, thank you so much. 131 will be coming up soon. This is going to end at 131. Episode 130. And Sam did confirm he will hang out with us at DCA and give us a tour. So we're going to put that together for you guys when we do it. So that's something to put on your calendars once we get that down. Okay. We love you. Adventures out there. See you in the parks.
See ya.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Disneyland is now in its normal operating day. We hope you enjoyed your visit to the Magic Kingdom and that the memories you've made will bring you back again soon.
You know, it would be really good with it. My green apple and jalapeno sauce.
Babadoo.
How's that?
Babadoo.
Okay. Water's for quitters.
Jessica Aurora Farfan.
No.
What are you doing?
Definitely not. I'm so freaking ready. I like cake for the three of us.
I know.
Kitty.
It's like a breath of fresh air.
Boy, was my face